Merry Christmas, everybody. Holy smokes. We were coming home from a family function, and they are going crazy today with the chemtrails. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, this giant, enormous trail that has expanded to, you know, it's hard to tell from this distance, but I'm going to estimate 100 times its original size. We saw it, I should say, I saw it coming out of I saw it when it was being laid down. So it was just as they say, a contrail coming out of the back of a plane. And I mean, it was the densest, thickest chemtrail I think probably I've ever seen. It was amazing. And then the more I looked around, the more I saw, man, they're going crazy with these things. I mean, you could see about five of them simultaneously, and then you just look at the sky and the entire. They've been doing, apparently, they've obviously been doing this all day long, because the entire sky is just trashed with this sodium, aluminium, as the British say, sodium, aluminium, and barium. You know, or maybe they have different elements, you know, I don't know. I mean, but that's what's theorized by conspiracy theorists, but also pilots and geoengineering specialists and whatnot and so forth. So that's what we know about the sodium, the barium, and the aluminum. So if there is other stuff, we can't really talk about it because we don't know. But anyway, at least I don't know. But you can just see everywhere, going north and south, east and west. A lot of people say that they like to crisscross over each other because one plane will lay down, you know, one mixture or one element. Another plane will lay down another mixture, another element, and when they interact in the sky, it creates some kind of amplified effect or something. I mean, who knows? I don't know. But obviously, they're writing books about it now from the scientific journals, not the conspiracy. But they're talking about the necessity of blocking out the sun to save the earth, or some such nonsense as that. And, you know, population control and saving the earth from whatever, from SUVs, you know. But now you have thousands of these flights that are putting out trails, you know, that are probably the equivalent of 100 million SUVs or something. I mean, it's just absurd beyond absurd. So this is Christmas Day, and like I said, they're just going crazy today. At the moment, I don't see any actively being laid down, but I got what you might call kind of excited, because when we were driving home, there were like 5 of them simultaneously just going at it, you know. So that was pretty wild. But you can see over there, the sky is totally trashed, and there's one that's still relatively fresh. Relatively fresh meaning that you can still see its original structure. It hasn't spread out to that sort of cottony sheet-like pattern. So anyway, changing the subject here a little bit. Here's the bee's nest we have in our yard. You can see where I've broken off pieces of it and actually eaten it. And I've done it twice, and in both cases there was no honey. So apparently I have a little bit more to learn about how to harvest honey from a bee's nest. So here's a dead grapefruit tree. All the citrus trees around here are dead. Who knows if that has anything to do with all the aluminum, barium, and strontium in the atmosphere? Who knows? But I did hear recently that Monsanto is creating seeds now that are resistant to aluminum-rich soil. So, I mean, it's too much to keep track of. I mean, there's just, you know, and at every step of the way, you just have to say, who knows, who knows, who knows. But I guess the key is to work with what you have and try to make sense of it, while remaining humble, I guess, to know that you don't really know, that you're just, you know, you're conjecturing, you're projecting, you're guessing, you're just working with it, you know. And for me, that is the embodiment, I guess you might say, of being a child of God, and that we're like children. You know, we're like children. That is our true and inescapable nature. You know, these people that are blocking the sun with chemical compounds, they've lost, or they have completely and totally denied their true nature. And so they begin to look at themselves as God. And so they start to think that they have to control the population, they have to control the environment, they have to control this and control that, and they know this and they know that, and they have their academies and their institutes and their calculations and their data analyses, and they have this and they have that, and it's all solid and unassailable, undeniable, inarguable, you know, and they think they've got it all figured out. There is no trace of awareness of their childlike state before God, and that's why they start to look at themselves as being God, and that's when they start to wreck everything. That's the way I look at it. That's the significance, I think, of what Jesus said when he said, if you want to enter the kingdom of heaven, you have to become as a child. You have to recognize yourself, regardless of how titled or educated or honored or rich or wealthy or rich or strong or famed or worshipped or accoladed or, you know, regardless. You might be great before men, and if you are, that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with saying what you are, as you are. If you're great before men, say that you're great before men. If you don't want to say you're great before men, then just say you're great. But in your heart, you have to know the context of what you're thinking and what you're saying, and that context has to be true. You know, you might be great before men, and if you are, God bless you. That's a blessing, right? It's a blessing to have power to bless. That's what being great is all about. From God's perspective, that's what point of being great is. It's not to have the power to self-aggrandize. It's not about having the power to self-indulge. You will have more than enough opportunity to do all of that. There's no question. But ultimately, it's about the power to bless. So, anyway, that's amazing, ChemTrail Day. I just learned also that George Washington attacked the British on Christmas Day, 11 p.m. And that turned the war. So, I don't know. These are amazing times we're living in. These are amazing times. I don't even know what to say. They're just amazing times. This is Tampa Bay ChemTrail update, December 25th, 2018. And the skies over Tampa are completely polluted with intentionally sprayed and delivered poisonous toxins by some elements, some rogue elements in the government, you know, who partner with corporations to actually get the work done, and the corporations and the government become basically indistinguishable, because once government money touches your budget, you become part of the government. It doesn't matter what your legal status is. So, anyway, God bless you all. Merry Christmas, and, you know, celebrate Christmas by being provocative like baby Jesus was. Think about it. Baby Jesus was so provocative that he inspired Herod to go and kill every baby under 2 years old. That's how provocative his birth was. We're not supposed to be lame. We're not supposed to be agreeable. We're not supposed to be, you know, nice and pretty and fuzzy and warm and feel good, you know? I mean, we are supposed to be all those things, but, you know, there's another side to Jesus, right? There's the side where he kicks over the tables and swings whips. There's that side. All of his disciples were executed, or I think one was exiled. The greatest prophet of the Old Testament, Isaiah, was cut in half by a king. And these guys didn't do anything. They didn't do anything violent. They didn't hurt anybody. They didn't attack anybody. People just didn't like what they said. I mean, think about that. Just think about that. They were killed because of what they said. Think of how powerful their words must have been. And think about how lame and weak and listless and pansified and ineffectual and effeminate the words of your preachers are. Or yourself. Or whoever inspires you, you know? Or whoever you're receiving counsel and wisdom and direction from. All right, I'm going to go. This time, I promise. God bless you. Thanks for watching. Bye.